Welcome to Assembly Update. I am Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, representing the 111th Assembly District, which includes Montgomery County, parts of Schenectady County, and parts of Albany County. We have another great show lined up for you today. Today, our guest is Janice Thompson, founder and president of StoreMade. Janice, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Angela, for having me.
My pleasure to have you here, and we have some important stuff to talk about. And StoreMade is a fantastic organization that I have attended some of your events. It's got a great mission. Before we do that, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with StoreMade?
Well, at the end of August, when Hurricane Irene and Lee hit, I was depressed, and I knew I couldn't really get into the physical aspect and do all that hard physical labor. But I felt I had a good brain and I could start an organization, and I never looked back. It was an idea, and we had our kickoff event in Altamont at the apple orchards, actually, in Guilderland, and that was October 1st of 2011. And from that date, we have gotten a lot of volunteers to help us. We are a totally all-volunteer organization.
That's wonderful.
Probably the only one existing now that doesn't have to pay administrative costs, and all the money basically goes to the people.
And so, this organization was started as almost as a way to help people that were affected.
Right, it was a calling that I had, that I just felt I had to do this, and it'll be 2 years in October, and I'm hoping that eventually we can phase down, but for the moment there's still so many needs in our 4 counties. The 4 counties that StoreMade helps are Greene, Schoharie, Montgomery, which you represent, and parts of Schenectady, of course, you represent. So we help all 4 counties, and I've been in the process of getting checks out right now to Greene County from our last fundraiser in April at the Stockade Inn in Schenectady, which was called April Love.
Oh, yes.
And it was a lovely event, and we did have Elvis and Sinatra tributes, and the food was great, and I try to have all different kinds of fundraisers to make it interesting, and there's a lot of behind-the-scene work that it has to be done here. And we kind of have a skeleton crew, so I'm looking for more volunteers.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I'm sure you're looking for more volunteers. Now, how did Elvis do at your fundraiser?
He was wonderful. His name is Bill McGrath, and he performed at another fundraiser that we had in Scotia last fall, and it was a 50s retro event, and that's where I found him. And then he was willing to donate his services.
That's great.
And then we had Joe Sinatra, who did Sinatra and Tony Bennett, and I'm actually going to be singing with Joe at Schenectady's Summer Night because he asked me if I would, and I do sing.
Now, I have seen you on public access in Schenectady, and I know that you do sing.
Yeah, I do.
You have a lovely voice.
Thank you.
And it's great that you're singing at Summer Night. I will be there as well.
Oh, great. Yeah, I just sang at a church yesterday spontaneously. They had karaoke, and I felt compelled to sing because it makes me feel good, and we need to interject that balance in our life.
So it sounds like you had a great fundraiser, very kind of sort of unique for the area. I haven't been to an Elvis fundraiser.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We've had 2 now, and I'm not sure if we'll be doing anything with him per se, because the events that are coming up in August don't require that kind of entertainment.
And you mentioned this. Now, the funds that are raised go directly to help people that were affected by storms.
Hurricane Irene and Lee. That's what we're concentrating on, because there's still a lot of needs there. There's people that have their mold has come back. They need dehumidifiers. I'm in the process of writing out 10 checks right now that will go to the disaster case manager out in Greene County because they are under the umbrella now as of March with Catholic Charities. So Catholic Charities has taken over all the disaster case managers. And I just found that out yesterday. I didn't know that that transition took place. So Catholic Charities kind of is a big help for these kinds of things. And I'm writing out 10 checks, like I said, that are helping in various phases of rebuilding in Greene County. They have a 6-year recovery plan, so they're into their, I guess you would call their second year, or maybe starting the third year, and it's a 6-year plan. And there's people that still have mold, they need sheetrock, they need flooring, they need roofing, and any little bit that we get, every dollar helps.
Yeah.
The one fundraiser that we're doing in August is where the featured nonprofit at Rotterdam Square Mall's Macy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And a couple of your staff just purchased a $5 ticket.
Oh, okay. All right.
And when they come on August 23rd and 24th, they will get 25% off of even clearance items. But the $5 that they gave me goes directly in our bank account, which is with NBT.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to promote a few more while I'm here after the show. So and people can call me and they can purchase them, and it's a great thing that Macy's does. Even if you're in California, you can go in with this card, and you can use it anywhere that there's a Macy's. So it's awesome, and we just got that set up. And
you mentioned calling. That number is 518-372-0035.
It's my home, my work number. But that's my StoreMaid number.
And your website.
And my website is StoreMaid2011.org. And there's a lot of information on there, and we have it updated by the mayor of Middleburg, Matt Avitabile, helps with our website. And we also have other government officials helping StoreMaid. One in particular who's been a great and a man of integrity is John Buzan.
Okay.
And he is on the Board of Supervisors in Middleburg.
And how? What areas? What are you hearing besides the construction? What other damage are you hearing about still where people need help?
The mold situation.
The mold is a big,
yes,
okay.
And some people have gotten scammed by contractors, and they tell us that. So we have to do a thorough investigation before we pass any money out, because we work hard for our money. And we have to be discriminatory with it, as far as not just handing it out without some significant thought behind it. And we have help with that. Disaster case managers actually are big help. John Buzan himself has gone out to homes to introduce himself to the homeowner and actually physically see where they're at, so that he can report to us, so that Prudy Bombard, who has been on our needs committee, she can help with making the decision, because we have a board, and we have to agree on who's getting the money, how much we're giving them, and so we don't want to make any mistakes.
Right, and
so we're diligent about it.
So are projects sort of needs prioritized, or are you able to pretty much eventually get down the list, or is there people on a waiting list?
There's people on a waiting list, but we've covered a lot from our last fundraiser, April Love. And my goal was to expand further into Montgomery and Greene County. I'm in the process now, like I said, of writing 10 checks out to them. And that covers, like I mentioned, I think the sheetrock. It might be someone who needs a dehumidifier. They've exhausted their funds. They've had problems with insurance. Actually, one of the ones in Schenectady County that we helped get her kitchen cabinets, we gave money towards that, and did get money from FEMA. FEMA's asking for money back from them because apparently they overpaid in cases, and that's devastating to some of these people.
Sure.
I'm hearing. So the mold is a big problem, and we actually helped someone it was probably in February or March that we were able to actually complete it. But it was a several months process of helping somebody get clean water out in Montgomery County that had not had clean water since the storm in August of 2011.
And we're talking about a basic necessity.
Basic medical necessity, and they've the mold that they've been dealing with, and it's affected their breathing. And I understood it was no one that we had helped in particular, but we had heard that somebody did die because of the mold in their lungs. We heard that recently.
What is the best way for people to contact and reach out? Is it a phone, or you think there's a website?
I prefer a direct call, but you can certainly, we're on Facebook.
Yep.
We're also, I told you about our website on stormaid2011.org.
Yeah.
But a personal phone call, I get to talk to the person, and I'll call them back. I find is the most effective. If you can have a one-on-one conversation, even if it's for a couple of minutes, you do get a feel.
Now, are you personally meeting with these people as well as they call and request, or just over the phone, or is there an application process?
The application can be downloaded off of our website, stormaid2011.org, and then you fill it out, and then you either fax it in or you mail it to our post office box number, which is Stormaid, P.O. Box 567, Schenectady, New York 12301. And then I open them up, and I usually pass them on to our needs committee, and they go over them, and we have a conversation. And of lately, it seems the disaster case managers, it's quite effective way to get through these and to sort, because what someone applied for several months ago, maybe they don't need it now.
Right.
Maybe they got help. So we have to make sure that everything's
well, that's
updated.
That's actually a good point. So from the time, say, I call the number, Janice, I need help, I have mold, how long does it take before I can actually expect to see some help come back, or how long does the board take to process these applications?
Well, it varies, and we have to always have the money. The ones we're working on right now actually were from April, so it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it depends, and we have to make sure StormAid has the volunteer people in place too to do this, and volunteers have their own life also.
Sure.
So I have to be smart about who I ask, when I ask, and knowing that we have to be effective, always effective.
Right. And like you said, volunteers, time, you don't always have it exactly when you need it, but you got to come with schedule. Hey, I know you have family life and other stuff, but we need your help at this location. So it doesn't happen instantaneously sometimes.
It doesn't happen instantaneously, and we were trying to go chronologically.
Yeah.
And so we were able to do that for a time, and then we found out that people were not having clean water, and so then we had to shift
Priorities.
Because we had to prioritize. So you can't always go chronologically.
Right.
As much as we know can be a fair way, it isn't necessarily the smartest thing to do, because people need drinking water, and people have medical issues, and so we try to work within all that framework and be effective, like I said. And I worked in mental health. I'm a nurse by profession, and I know how people fall through the cracks, and so I'm aware that some people don't have a voice, and maybe it'll come to my attention third person, and people had problems before the storm hit, and then they're worse. So
Yeah.
also being aware of that person's special needs. And we're just helping someone right now, and she's in Greene County, and her husband just became like out of work, and there's disability, and she's so grateful. She said any little bit will help us, help to continue us moving forward and getting us back on our feet. So.
And certainly even a little bit goes a long way sometimes.
It does, and I want to help everybody
Yeah.
because that's how I am. But you just know you have to do it.
Well, Janice, I want to thank you
Smartly.
for all this, for taking this on and for really helping members of our community. We are going to
Well,
take.
that's what it's all about. It's helping each other and doing something bigger than yourself. That's the key.
Yes.
And looking always at the greater good.
Yep.
For our neighbors. So.
We're going to take a short break here on Assembly Update. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Janice Thompson and more about Storm Aid.
Thank you so much, Angelo.
Thank you.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking. Viking.
Red state, blue state, vegan,
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
downtown,
Night owl.
Early
We
bird.
come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Assembly Update. I am Assembly Member Angelo Santabarbara. My district office is located at 1170 Riverfront Center in Amsterdam, New York, 12010. I can be reached by phone at 518-843-0227 or by email at santabarbara@assembly.state.ny.us. Welcome back to Assembly Update. We have been talking with Janice Thompson, founder and president of Storm Aid, and we've heard all about the organization and the wonderful things and the help you've been doing for our communities. And I want to thank you again for taking this project on, for being here today to tell our audience about the mission of Storm Aid and what you've been doing since 2011.
Yes, thank you, Angelo.
And
It's my pleasure.
I was looking at your website. You have a wonderful mission. You cover a lot of counties. It's a
4
lot of
counties.
and it is a lot of work.
Yes.
And you're strictly volunteer.
All volunteer, no government help. The money comes from the kindness of friends and strangers.
And how do people get involved? We talked about getting involved with the organization. If someone wanted to volunteer, how would they do it? Would they call you? Would they get on the website? Would they visit you somewhere?
All 3.
Okay.
When I have an event, I bring volunteer forms, and we had gotten volunteers that way to help us with a particular event. Maybe somebody only just wants to come to one event and sit at a table and help. we're going to be at Macy's, like I said, on the 23rd and 24th of August, and if somebody would like to come and be with me at the table, it allows for me to take a break. Otherwise, I don't get a break. Or any of the other volunteers that might be there. So it doesn't mean that they have to have a long-term commitment. It could be a short-term commitment.
Right.
So that's one way, and anyone can call me and say, well, what can I do? I do not have a corresponding secretary. I do the correspondence if someone has given a particular, say, $100 donation, just out of the goodness of their heart. That, to me, that requires a personal note. So I do those kinds of things as well.
You mentioned monetary donations, but we also talked about things like sheetrock and lumber. Can people donate items?
Mainly, we raise the money, and how we distribute it is either by checks to the contractor. It could be directly to the disaster case manager with something, because we know that they're up and up. It could be a gift card from Bellevue Builders, because when they go there, Bellevue Builders will stretch their money, and the sheetrock, for instance, can be gotten from them, paint. Home Depot, we give cards also in Lowe's. So depending on the need, and lots of times they need to pay a mold remediation contractor. So I've actually written out checks to the contractor.
And that's kind of a specialty service.
That's a specialty service, and the mold is coming back in a lot of places.
Right.
And so many people are hear about Storm Aid, and I get calls sporadically, and present it to the board, and we go over the needs, and then we check and we recheck, because it takes us time to raise even $500.
Right.
We have been at the co-op in Niskayuna. We've done, I think we've been there at least 4 times. It's a great spot. It's the most high-trafficked grocery store in the United States per square foot. The most high-trafficked. Wow. So we take advantage of that, and we're out there, and the people are generous, and sometimes it's cold. The last time we were there, it was freezing, and we had to go inside, and everything was blowing all over, and you never know what you're going to come up against when you've got a date, and you've got to honor that
Right.
date to be somewhere to have a fundraiser. So it's important to be your word. And so anyway, we would love for anyone to call me at 518-372-0035, but also visit our website, because you'll see pictures on there of our events, and in some of the history of Storm Aid. We also have DVDs. Actually, they're DVDs, but they're called CDs for some reason. But it's pictures to music of the event, and we sell them. And a person in Middleburg, she made up all these CDs, so we sell them at our events, and they're not expensive. They're either $10. One that's quite a bit longer is $15, but it's a piece of posterity that someone could have for their loved ones.
Right.
Through history.
And you also, I want to mention again, all the money you raise goes directly to help families.
Yeah,
and
we have
members of the
very
community.
little. I have to pay for a P.O. box. I mean, there's a little expenses that you can't avoid.
Yep.
But the money goes to the people. We've gotten donations of food. Even the Holiday Inn did a fundraiser last year for us. It was a spring fling that we did at the Holiday Inn, and they donated all the food.
Yes.
That was awesome. And but the one at the Stockade Inn, we had to pay for the food.
Yep.
But we needed to have it there. It was kind of an upscale place, and it was lovely, and they did that. They did the work for us
That's
as far as the
wonderful.
food went.
Wonderful, Janice.
Yeah.
And I know you you have a special poem that you brought, and I want to make sure we have time to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
We have a few minutes left here, and I want to give you some time to
Okay.
to tell us a little bit about this poem that has a special meaning to you. Maybe you can read it for us.
It does, and just before I do that, I just want to say that Stormy is going to be at the racetrack August 7th. We
Okay.
have a booth there. And we're also going to have a chicken barbecue on the 17th. At this point, it's going to be at the Trinity Reformed Church on Curry Road. And I just got the go-ahead yesterday.
Oh, wonderful.
So we have 3 events in August. Call me, please. We're willing, even if you wanted to donate food for something, we think we're having a bake sale that would give us some extra money at the time. The dinners are only going to be $10, so it's a fair deal.
And let's give out that number.
So let's do, so my phone number again is 518-372-0035. And my name is Janice Thompson, and I'm the founder and president of StoreMate, and we have wonderful volunteers in
Great.
Angelo. This poem that I want to read, I heard at Obama's inaugural. When I watched it on television, I was really impressed with it. Then I heard he was coming to Schenectady to Union College, so I went over and got his autograph. And of course, he read the entire poem. I'm only going to read 3 stanzas, but it's a great way to end a show, and it's by Richard Blanco, and he is the inaugural poet. One today. One sun rose on us today, kindled over our shores, peeking over the Smokies, greeting the faces of the Great Lakes, spreading a simple truth across the Great Plains, then charging across the Rockies. One light, waking up rooftops, under each one a story told by our silent gestures moving behind windows. One sky, toward which we sometimes lift our eyes, tired from work. Some days, guessing at the weather of our lives. Some days, giving thanks for a love that loves you back. Sometimes, praising a mother who knew how to give, or forgiving a father who couldn't give what you wanted. We head home through the gloss of rain or weight of snow or the plum blush of dusk, but always home, always under one sky, our sky, and always one moon like a silent drum tapping on every rooftop and every window of our country. All of us home. Thank you.
Janice, you performed that, you read that beautifully, and I want to thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for sharing that poem with us. And thank you for all the work that you're doing in our community. I want you to come back and join us again on the show
Be happy
here.
to.
It's been wonderful sharing some time with you.
Thank you so much.
And join us again here on Assembly Update when we will talk more about things going on in your community. Thank you.